Alright, so the healing Lyleen. So in Tides of Terraria they changed the Bountiful protection to heal in a small area of effect. It does heal 30% of the pal's health. It has a very long cooldown at 240 CT, which becomes 145 with the Serenity and Impatient. And usually, like, raids don't really last that long even. It depends a little bit on how much DPS you're doing. So we're going to be testing with the exact same army I tested with yesterday, the Finsider Ignis army, and just replacing 4 of them with 4 healing Lyleens running Diamond Body, Legend, Impatient, and Serenity, just for that maximum defense and heal, I guess. We're just going to see how it plays out really in this first test. Is just regular Xenolord Ultra to compare with yesterday's timings or remaining health on Xenolord. You can see he starts with Meteor Rain, so this should be a perfect example to see this heal in action. To see the heal. They're not using the heal. Are they gonna use the heal? I'm not sure what triggers it. Because Lyleen is below, at least one Lyleen, 2 Lyleens are below 70%, so it's not like they need to lose 30% to use it. When are they gonna use the heal? Come on, the Finsiders are dying. The Finsider is dead. At least one of them is dead. Is it bugged? Because it would have been great if they... Oh, there's the heal going off. And it healed one Finsider there, because they're all spread out. Not looking great. In this video here. Can we see... No, I mean, they did use the heal. All 3 of them stacked up on the same Finsider. Didn't really see what the 4th one was doing, but... I guess one Finsider got a little bit of healing. That's a bit of a letdown after I used more peaches on these Lyleens. Maybe that was a bit of a fluke. We'll see. I'll do a couple of more fights. I did 4 Insider fights yesterday to see kind of how they did on their own, to add to that chart I'm eventually gonna make, or table, with how good pals do against Xenolord Ultra. So I think kind of similar to the Bjorn tests I did during Faybreak, I'll be testing my armies first solo against Xenolord Ultra and seeing how much health he has left by the time they're all dead. Then the timing against Rio, sort of like how quickly they kill Rio, but you don't need healing pals for that, because they all cleared pretty easily. And then adding player damage as well, which is going to be a little bit random. I don't think we're going to be seeing a whole lot more damage being done right now. There's 1 or 2, there's 2 Fignesses left. That might do a little bit, like, a little bit of healing. And a little bit of damage. I don't think it's been the full... What is it, like 2 minutes and 25 seconds or something? There we go. There was another heal going off, right? I'm not sure what... It would be nice if they used it immediately at the start, so it actually had time to cool down. The first... I don't feel like they used it fast enough. And then the cooldown won't wear off. Like, if we're adding player damage and full DPS to it, the fight will be over before they use it twice, I guess. Okay, but I'm gonna do more fights and we'll see the average numbers instead. Okay, so here I added the average from 3 fights with this Lyleen and the average from 4 fights with no Lyleen from yesterday. And this was by far the worst attempt, the one you're watching right now. But you can see that the average is pretty close. I got one with no Lyleen where he just never used Meteor Rain, so that one felt a little bit like not representative. The one that got all the way down to 500,000 health remaining with no Lyleen. But overall there doesn't seem to be a big difference there. So I did a quick comparison, like how much is it actually healing. So you can see Finsider Ignis is probably one of the worst case scenarios since it has low defense and low health. If you take something like Neptilius instead, it has more HP and more defense. So that 30% heal, since it's healing 30%, will give it around 35 more effective HP healing. So you can see that it's almost, what is that, like 3 million more effective HP healed on Neptilius compared to Finsider Ignis, which is 35% more per heal. So Finsider Ignis is probably like a worst case scenario for a raid army to test with this healing stuff. I mean, you could go all the way down to Chickabee, but Finsider Ignis is probably the worst stat pal that you would consider for the ultra kill. So now we're gonna try with player damage. So The interesting part for me with adding player damage here, as mentioned in the previous video, is that first Xenolord will focus some attacks on you as well, which gives more time for the Lyleens to heal and stuff. It's going to spread out the damage, you're going to reach the stun phase sooner, the summon adds phase sooner, so everything kind of changes. Because like if you're tanking every other hit or something like that, that's a lot of uptime. Maybe some more healing will come out before they die. We'll just see. So starting the same way I usually do, just off-center Holy Burst into some plasma cannons. Unfortunate timing there, but that's why I like to run these ice skills right here. So if you manage to hit the Blizzard Spike and the double Blizzard Spike, you can prevent that sort of knockback. So as you saw in the previous attempt, that knockback from Cosmic Meteor kind of spread the pals out. Now they're all neatly stacked up, so if we get to see the healing effect here, it should hit almost all the Finsiders with all 4 heals. Maybe a little bit of a benefit, but then you're going to get some more knockback skills when he's using some random attacks like Dragon, Charge Cannon or something. So a couple of heals there. Feel like the Finsiders are looking very healthy. So that's probably more representative there for the true potential of this pal. If you prevent that first knockback, you'll get that first heal on all of the Finsiders, or hopefully at least many of them. It still took like what, 40-50 seconds for the heals to get used. So I really don't know what the trigger is for Lyleen to use the heal. Like maybe she has to be in combat for like 30 seconds before she even considers it. Like it starts on cooldown so that it won't just use it immediately or something. Not sure, I'm gonna have to do some more testing to see kind of what triggers it. One Lyleen is down already. Not enough healing on herself, I guess. And then another thing to consider is that when you're adding these like Cleric Lyleens, they have pretty high defense since I am stacking defense on them. So I guess like every time Xenolord focuses them instead of a Finsider, that's also kind of a benefit that you sort of have these tanky pals tanking a couple of shots. Like if 4 or 15 pals are very tanky, it might spread the damage out a little bit more. I would also need to test like, I guess this is more of a test to just see how Lyleen performs. And then once I do have like a more proper tanky army, like either Bastigor or Neptilius ready to go, even Palladius or something like that, these Lyleens will scale with the defense and health of the pals. As mentioned in that effective HP comparison. I might as well just explain that a little bit further. So when you have the health of a pal, it's like 13,000, and then you have 3,500 defense. The effective HP of the pal is the health times the defense. So like 1 health point on a pal with higher defense is worth more than it is. So that's what effective HP means, is that you're actually like comparing how much true tankiness a pal has with the health bar and the defense included. So that when Lyleen heals 30% on a Neptilius, you're getting more value per hit point. So that's what effective HP is. It's used pretty commonly in like MMOs and stuff like that, just to compare like when do you want to add dodge, parry, like elemental resistances and stuff like that. So when you compare the kill time here with yesterday, they're also extremely similar. I felt like the amount of pals that survived was also pretty similar. I feel like yesterday I had 3 or 4 Finsiders left. Now we have probably like 6 or 7 pals. So the loss of DPS from running the Lyleens, I mean, you're missing out on all this trigger happy damage and stuff, and there's no attacking passes on it. They do have Serenity and Impatient. They have all the trust buffs and everything like that. It's actually not like a terrible pal on its own. Maybe like 15 Lyleens would be fun, but I just made these 4 to sort of see like if they could replace the pal pods. So the time from yesterday, 650, and now with 4 Lyleens, just a flat 7 minutes pretty much. Pretty much the same, I would say. Maybe it does add a little bit of more like bad luck protection. I'm gonna go in and do 2 more fights, I guess, to sort of get a fair comparison for like just like yesterday, just to see randomness. Okay, so in the second fight, all the pals died. So it's kind of just like yesterday. 1 attempt went well, and in 1 attempt, it was just like, I guess, they stacked up, you know, they're stacking up for the heal. Everything is looking good. But then he used Stone Beat and just killed the entire army pretty much. And some of them had already fallen from a meteorine earlier in the fight, so it doesn't seem to be like a bad luck protection. It doesn't make it a lot more consistent. You're still gonna have these bad luck fights, And in the third attempt, it was pretty similar to the first attempt, just a little bit slower. 2 Finsiders died before the first stun phase, before Lyleen even used the heal. So that was a pretty heavy DPS loss if you're only running 11 Finsiders. That's like a 20% DPS loss almost. So not great, but still got the kill, just a little bit slower than the first attempt. So overall, when running these Finsiders, as mentioned, worst case scenario for these Lyleens probably, just due to the low health and the defense on these Finsiders. It was pretty comparable, like almost exactly even, I would say, to just not running the Lyleens. So I am thinking that these Lyleens are very worth it if you do run like Neptilius instead. But then you also have to consider these like thresholds. Like maybe running 15 Neptilius will let you reach the first stun phase before Xenolord even uses an attack. It might kill the ads a lot quicker. So there's a lot of give and take there. So honestly, like, it feels pretty good, but they're still only using around 1 or 2 heals per fight. Especially if you then add some better pals than Fincide or Ignis. So, like, overall, they look good, and we're gonna have to do some more testing with a tankier army in the future. So thanks for watching.